Hey, it's Dr. Darren Schmidt. So I'm a chiropractor. I've been focusing on nutrition since 1994. I've been practicing nutrition since 1998. And the basis of improving your health has to do with nutrition, diet, and supplements. In those supplements, there's a lot of different categories like herbs, etc. We're going to talk about this related to this horrible, scary C virus, which is preventing all of us from going to the movies and going to restaurants. We have to stay at home. And the medical profession is saying wash your hands and don't touch your face. And that's all they have for us. They have no other solutions. There's no drug. There's no vaccine. They're just saying wash your hands, don't touch your face. But the truth is that there are a few dozen supplements, herbs, nutrients, and there's a couple variations on the diet that are proven to help with the C virus. And I'm going to go over research on it. I'm going to show you studies. And so before we get going, hit the thumbs up to like it. It took me a long time to do this video, lots of editing, lots of different takes, and hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you get all the notifications so you're not misinformed or uninformed. And also share this with somebody who's freaking out about this virus, and share it with people who are interested in doing something active and intelligent and proven with clinical results related to this horrible situation. Now, in my office, I have myself and 5 other practitioners, and we're talking to people on the phone. Some people don't want to come into the office. That's fine. You can do phone visits. If you're not a patient, go below and see under the video, in the video description box, how to become a patient. I'm also putting down there how to buy supplements, and without even being a patient, you have access to that now. We're going to go over a couple dozen supplements that have a history of taking care of this C virus. Now you may say, well, this virus is new, it's novel, it's never been seen before. Yeah, but that's a true statement, but it's still under the same category of this type of virus. And if you have 3 people with this virus, the genetic material is different from person to person and from potentially virus to virus in their bodies. So in medicine, they try to find that one thing to kill that one thing. Whereas in healthcare, in holistic healthcare, here's this virus, and there's multiple brothers and sisters and family members of this virus, and you want to find this broad spectrum antiviral herbal, for example, to wipe out all of them. So there's more broad spectrum effect when it comes to using the tools that were provided to us by Mother Nature. So I'm putting below how to contact the office and how to potentially buy supplements even if you're not a patient. But there are some steps to take before, going after a virus. If you have heavy metals or chemicals, you need to detoxify. If you have parasites, you got to get the parasites out. If you have mitochondrial dysfunction and low energy, you got to fix the mitochondria. If you have problems with drainage, like you have sinuses that are congested or constipation, or there's various other situations related to drainage, all these come before taking care of the virus. And you just follow along through this whole video. It's super interesting. And what it exposes is a total incompetence and willful ignorance of the whole medical system. They would rather let people die than to supply some nutritional supplement or liquid or herb. And let me show you what I have to share with you, the information. I just put together this whole pile of potential supplements, and I'm missing some because I just forgot to grab them from the office. And you're going to enjoy this, and it's going to blow your mind. So just stick with me through the whole thing. Take notes, hit rewind if you need to, so you can write down names of supplements so that you and your family can be protected, and you can actually do things created by Mother Nature to kill off the enemies of Mother Nature. I mean, a virus is not an enemy, right? Just like a fungus, parasite, or bacteria. They're just trying to return your body back to the soil. They're taking out the immune compromised, and it's trying to lay you down and kill you so that we have this continuation of the circle of life. And I know it sounds really cheesy, sounds like a Disney movie, but that's the way it is. And the people that have the strongest immune systems do the best. And there's research. I got research in PubMed to prove that statement, so we're going to hit that first. Then we're going to get straight into really good research regarding the virus itself. So first I want to show you the absurdity of YouTube. They're not our friend. Google's not our friend. They have this update on this virus from March 11th. And I'm going to scroll down. This is from the CEO slash president, whoever. Her name is Susan Wojcicki. And she says right here, we're also raising up authoritative sources in search and recommendations. So that's where, the conventional doctors, CDC, they're going to be right in the forefront of any video where they talk about a particular virus. And it says YouTube will continue to quickly remove videos that violate our policies, including those that discourage people from seeking medical treatment or claim harmful substances have health benefits. They are flagging people who claim harmful substances have health benefits. This is a very important point considering every single drug is a harmful substance. Every single drug has side effects, even Bayer aspirin. Let me just say it a third time. They should flag all conventional medical advice because they say that harmful substances have health benefits. Okay, now I know a guy that worked at a pharmaceutical company, and he's very intelligent, just brilliant. And he made this drug that had no side effects. It did the thing it was supposed to do. It worked really well, and there were 0 side effects. The CEO of that pharmaceutical company said it needs at least 5 side effects. So go back into the lab and create 5 side effects. The CEO said, I need to know that money is dripping into the company 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I wake up in the morning, I need to hear the drip, drip, drip of money coming into the business. So the guy who created that pharmaceutical drug, he quit all of pharmacy at that moment because he saw how unethical the industry was at the time. So here's YouTube saying this, and if they're gonna, follow up with their words, they need to flag all the pharmaceutical ads and all the people promoting harmful drugs. So just to show you down here, this is from our friend Susan Wojcicki. Okay, this is a fantastic article. It's well researched. There's 25 references at the end of it. And this basically is talking about the testing for the actual virus. And the testing was designed not to identify viruses, but actually to identify genetic sequencing. So viruses are RNA. They're not DNA. And when RNA replicates, it's very sloppy. When DNA replicates, it's very concise. So if you have 3 people who are diagnosed with this virus, the genetic material of all 3 of those samples are going to be different. So this testing that they're using is to test genetic sequencing, not necessarily that actual type of organism. So this testing has a 30 to 50% accuracy rating. Also, some people are positive, then they're negative, then they're positive again. And there's a known amount of false negatives, but there's not a known amount of false positives. So this testing is just very inaccurate, and there's confusion on this. And this article actually has case-by-case scenarios of how people got infected and the source of transmission. It's a fascinating article. I'm putting the link below. If you're interested to learn more about the testing and to go down that rabbit hole, then be my guest and read through this article. This article just came out from the Lancet, and it's talking about the people who suffered from this virus in China, and the people that suffered the most had what's known as comorbidities. And what that means is they had other diseases that made them sicker and less able to survive. And those comorbidities in order: hypertension, diabetes, congestive heart failure. So if you had those 3, your chances of dying were so much higher. So what does that tell us? It means eat the right diet, keep your blood sugar down as much as possible, and do what it takes to have a healthy body. So there's the proof right there that when you work for years and years to have a healthier and healthier body, your chances of surviving this, if you get it, are much, much better. Now I'm going to show you here in a second that when you have essential fatty acids floating around in your blood, those essential fatty acids can kill this virus. So what does that mean? Ketosis is very important, keeping your blood sugar super low. and getting the fat out of your tissues and in your blood circulating around, and your body's using that as energy. That is the healthiest state to be in when it comes to this scenario. Here's a study in PubMed talking about, it says the characterization of the lipidomic profile of human C virus infected cells. Implication for lipid metabolism remodeling upon C virus replication. So just bear with me. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is, and I highlighted the most important sentence. It says, interestingly, exogenous supplement of linoleic acid, which is a nutrient, or arachidonic acid, which is a nutrient, in COV infected cells, we're talking about that virus, significantly suppressed COV virus replication. So where do you get linoleic acid? Well, you can look up conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, or you can look up gamma linoleic acid. And also evening primrose oil. I know I carry evening primrose oil that's got linoleic acid in it. Also flaxseed oil. Now you can get CLA or linoleic acid from the worst oils like canola, soybean oil. Just avoid those like the plague. But if you look at medical websites, they'll say there's plenty of healthy linoleic acid in soybean oil. But that's the worst. That's disease right there. So you have to be careful with the information that's out there. In the medical world, they don't really equate good nutrition versus bad nutrition as well as your holistic doctor does. So there you go. There's proof right there in this study. And notice that the people that did this study, they all have Chinese last names. So they're the ones that figured out that you can do healthy essential fatty acids to kill a virus that's scaring everybody right now. Here's another study. It says inactivation of envelope viruses and killing of cells by fatty acids and monoglycerides. So the C virus is an envelope virus, just like the flu virus. But the common cold virus known as rhinovirus, that's not enveloped. The point of the envelope term is that that's the anatomy of the virus. It has this envelope around it that puts it into a certain category that makes it killable by certain herbs, and here in this article, essential fatty acids. So just bear with me when I get through this, but we're going to talk about herbs that are known to kill envelope viruses for decades and potentially even hundreds of years. But back to this article, it says lipids in fresh human milk do not inactivate viruses, but become antiviral after storage of the milk for a few days. So fresh milk does not work. You have to store it and let it ferment a little bit. It's got its chemistry going on inside. Give it a few days, and now it's antiviral. A number of fatty acids, which are normal components of milk lipids, were tested against envelope viruses. Antiviral fatty acids were found to affect the viral envelope, causing leakage and at higher concentrations a complete disintegration of the envelope and the viral particles. They also cause disintegration of the plasma membranes of tissue culture cells, resulting in cell lysis and death. Lysis means it gets cut up. Moving on to the next article, this is from a guy named David Sinclair, PhD. Regarding this C virus, it says, it may explain why diabetics and elderly are more susceptible. He says, seems true, so the higher your blood sugar, the worse off you are. Patients should have abnormalities in heme in their blood because the virus destroys the body's ability to absorb oxygen from the lungs, and the oxygen in the blood goes down, and the iron becomes not usable. But I have this fair food. This is the best product I've ever seen for iron. I had a guy take an iron from his medical doctor for a year. It never changed his blood levels. He took this for 3 months, and his blood levels of iron became normal. This is food iron, not metal iron. A lot of supplements are garbage metal iron. There's a difference between iron on your car, rusty car, versus iron in a spinach plant. This is another one called Max Tonic. This is fantastic to supply iron. So you want to make sure you have good iron levels. Here's an article regarding antiviral therapies. And the first sentence says right here, viral infections are being managed therapeutically through available antiviral regimens with unsatisfactory clinical outcomes. The refractory viral infections resistant to available antiviral drugs are alarming threats and a serious health concern. Owing to the growing incidences of viral infections and especially of resistant viral strains, the available therapeutic modalities need to be improved, complemented with the discovery of novel antiviral agents to combat refractory viral infections. It is widely accepted that medicinal plant heritage is nature-gifted, precious, and fueled with the valuable resources for treatment of metabolic and infectious disorders. And there's one more sentence that I want to point out. Hundreds of plant extracts with antiviral effect were recognized, but in this study they only went with 36. So they found in their research hundreds of plants that can kill viruses. What does medicine have to offer? Wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay at home. That's pathetic. That is absurd. It's anti-human. They would rather let people die than to recommend herbs. Put that in your brain. There's 1 million medical doctors. There's 25,000 hospitals in the United States. How many of them are telling you to take herbs? There are hundreds that have been studied. And I'm going to show you more here, but look, here's this book right here, Principles and Practice of Phytotherapy. They talk about using herbs to kill viruses and many different conditions. This book is so important. I have 2 of them. How many of these books are in your hospital that you go to? I guarantee 0, because they're controlled by Big Pharma. Big Pharma controls the medical licensing, they control the insurance companies, they control what your doctor says, your medical doctor says, they control the people that run the hospitals. It's a shame that hospitals aren't using herbs. It's so important, I got 2 of them. Here's another article I found. Notice that the people that wrote this article have Chinese names. And it says, viral disease is a calamity which absolutely cannot be ignored for human health. The emergence of drug resistance and spread of new virus will be the new challenge against viral disease. To find and develop new antivirus agents with properties of safety, significant effect, and low toxicity is the pressing question facing humans today. This is in 2014. Because of its advantages, including rich resources, low price, less adverse effect, traditional Chinese medicine has become the research focus in antiviral treatment. Traditional Chinese medicine has obvious advantage in the treatment of virus infections, diseases, and has a broad prospect of application. So we're going to click on this DOI right here, and we come to this journal, and I downloaded it. So here I clicked on this button for download, and in the first column it has the types of virus, and the second column has a more distinct description of what it is. And it says severe acute respiratory syndrome. And one of them is the C virus that everybody's freaking out about. And notice they have 7 herbs. And some of them are injectables. And maybe this is what helped China get over their problem. It took them about 3 months. So we don't know in mainstream medicine if they've been using these herbs to kill that virus, but the medical doctors in the United States need to know this, and they need to apply this, because right now they got nothing. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. That's all you got? Here's a really good article by a virologist, and he describes that this virus has an envelope around it. So once we know that, it opens up the door for really good solutions. But I want to point out, this person's reading textbooks like this, and they're studying foundations in microbiology. This person has no solutions. And if I was a virologist, I would want to know how to kill them too. And instead of limiting your education just about the anatomy of a virus and how they replicate and the morphology of it, what's the point of knowing anything about that unless you know how to help people? So this is written by Kerry Bone and Simon Mills. Kerry Bone is probably the premier herbologist in the world. He's in Australia. And this has thousands of references of scientific literature and clinical trials and various ways to measure it in the lab as far as like the constituents of the herbs. So I'm putting the link below to all these references, and you click on them and read through them. All right, here's a great resources from a guy named Dr. Circus with an S. And he's talking about viruses are pH sensitive. And there's science here that says Massachusetts General Hospital, and there's a link to that. Anyways, so viruses do not like an alkaline environment. And I'm going to keep it really simple, but there's this one sentence that I highlighted. There's no pharmaceutical that can compete with sodium bicarbonate for changing the pH of the body fluids. So I've had people where they come in, they've been taking baking soda, basically, and their urine pH is 7.0. It's a temporary effect. And so they can take it, and then for 20 hours, a day, no more than 2 days, their pH in their urine goes down, and it means that their blood pH, it may be affected. The tissue pH, in their muscles might be affected. But I'm not a fan of baking soda for chronic illness. Okay, so I talk about lactic acidosis all the time. There's metabolic acidosis. And they've tried this in the ER. Somebody had a heart attack. Now they have an acidosis situation. And they give them baking soda. It doesn't help. But this is not a chronic illness. This is an acute situation. So if you have somebody that's sick, they have a cold right now, they have maybe the flu, and you want to try the baking soda, you could try it. And maybe that might kill the virus. And so if you want to do some prevention for the next 2 weeks, and you want to do baking soda, it's on you. The link is below. You can read this article. You can make your own decision. Now, what makes your body acidic? That's white bread. That's bread. It's grains. It's pasta. When I was at the store last night, they had meat, and they had lots of produce, and they had no bread, and they had no toilet paper, and they had very little pasta. All the grains were gone. People were eating up the grains. And it's the basis of our diet. We're doing what the USDA has been telling us to do for 40 years, is to eat 6 servings of bread and per day, and then like 11 servings total of grain. That's what's making us sick chronically. That's what's making our immune system weak. So eat meat and vegetables, and that'll keep your pH neutral. Meat is a little bit acidic. Vegetables are a little bit alkaline. You put them together, that's pretty neutral. And if you want to get really acidic, eat sugar and grains. That'll make yourself sick. And if you want to get more and more alkaline, do the baking soda. Now again, this is a temporary thing for an acute situation. It's not for long term, and you can do with what you want with this information. Here's an article from 2010 saying that zinc inhibits C virus. What's the harm in taking zinc? What's the harm in taking various supplements? There's no harm in it. So you got nothing to lose to load up on nutrition. That's my point. Now, if they come up with some vaccine or some drug, read the side effects. You got to know what the side effects are. The antiviral drugs have side effects, therefore they're poisonous to the human body. They cause harm. But when you look at all these supplements I'm going to go over, there's no harm in taking them. You got nothing to lose. Okay, let's go over the supplements that I brought. I also need to say that there's this concept of drainage. There's 28 million research articles on PubMed. There are 0 about drainage. Drainage means that your liver is working well, your lungs, your sinuses, your kidneys are they're functioning well, and the garbage is coming out of your body. So things that do this are, like, for example, this is Spanish black radish in a liquid form called Core Black Radish Blend. We also have Spanish black radish from Standard Process. Same plant, different form, different company. What's nice about these supplement companies that I carry is that they're all pretty well smart, and they all understand the same basic concepts. You're not going to find this stuff at GNC. Here's another product for drainage, Antronex. So more about drainage. We got Lymph Tone 1, Lymph Tone 2, and Lymph Tone 3 from this company to get your lymphatic system clean. Here's another company. They have Lymph 1 Matrix, Lymph 2, and Lymph 3, and they also get the lymphatic system clean. Here's a product called Lymphinest. You want to have a clean lymphatic system, that's the sewer system of your body. That's where most of your white blood cells are. That's where most of your immune system is. So if you have congestion in your lymphatic system, you're going to have a weaker immune system. My favorite antiviral supplements include Viranon, which I mentioned in this video right here. It's got thuja in it, which is from evergreen trees, and it's got licorice in it, which ramps up your energy from your adrenals. It gives you lots of energy. Now, if you have high blood pressure, you can't take that. It'll make your blood pressure go up. I also like Epimmune. This is more like a long-term thing, but I've seen people get much better from a cold or flu with Epimmune complex. Some of these products are currently on back order because there's a huge demand for them. I also really like Cataplex ACP. The A is whole food vitamin A, helps with the mucous membranes. Whole food vitamin C for the immune system. And then P stands for pycnogenol. That's the bioflavonoids in the plants that really help your immune system. We have Cataplex C from Standard Process. Just think of, people love vitamin C. They love ascorbic acid. This is the whole food vitamin C. This is not just ascorbic acid. It's got a little bit of ascorbic acid. But ascorbic acid is a big complex molecule with many parts. That's what this is, the whole food vitamin C. Let's not forget about plain old calcium lactate. I'm also in favor of calcium citrate. But I have people with various viral conditions, and they take calcium lactate. It helps mobilize the immune system. And this is a no-brainer. So it's just a shame. I just think of, in medicine, they can't even recommend calcium lactate. I mean, this bottle is like one of the cheapest bottles that we carry. And if you're concerned about your immune system and viral situations, just load up on this. A maintenance dosage would be like 4 to 6 a day. And if you have a viral flare-up, you take 20 to 25 pills a day and just chew on them. And they don't taste so bad. You wash it down with water. You load up on this for a few days, maybe 3 days or 5 days. You get over the hump, and then you're better. This is Imiplex from Standard Process. It's really good for viral situations. Now, one of the supplement companies emailed me and said that in China they were using enzymes to break up the virus because the virus would attach with anchors into the lungs, and enzymes would break up that attachment. So I replied back, I said, I need a link, show me some research article, and I never heard back from them. But if you want to go with enzymes on an empty stomach to try to break up a virus, here's one called bromelain plus CLA. The company's called Biotics. Remember earlier I talked about CLA, linoleic acid. The CLA can kill viruses. So here's 2 for 1. You got the bromelain, that's enzymes. And when you look at the ingredients, there's other enzymes in there too. Lipase, amylase, cellulase, papain. So there you go. You can take this on an empty stomach. Are we having fun yet? I mean, these are my toys. These are the supplements and products I've been working with since 1998 when I got into practice. This is ACS Silver from a company called Results RNA. Go to their website, resultsrna.com. So silver, and this is spray. Go, spray it right into your mouth. If you have something topically, you can put it on topically. But that has really good immune system effects and potentially could help you with this particular C virus situation. Now, I mentioned just a little while ago, if you have heavy metal or chemical toxicity, that can predispose you to chronic infections or even acute infections. So this is ACZ Nano. This is used to get rid of heavy metals out of your body from Results RNA. This product right here says Virad Chem Binder. It detoxifies radioactive elements and chemicals, and it has an effect on viruses. Now, so it detoxifies and helps get rid of viruses. I'm just concerned about the things I'm saying because, if somebody had a problem with what I'm saying and they were offended, or they had some sort of superiority complex, or maybe they felt inferior, they would want to take me down. They would want to report me to some governmental agency and say, hey, Schmidt's talking about curing infections. I don't talk about curing infections at all. So I'm just supplying to you information about nutrition that can help increase your immune system, right? So I would never say I can get rid of the C virus. I'm educating you on all the possibilities of how you can help yourself get better. And I can't guarantee any results, but what's the harm? It's like you can try this stuff and hopefully it works out. And who knows, maybe I might get this horrible C virus and I might be dead in a week, but I super highly doubt that because I'm a master of these things and my health is in really good shape. I've been working hard on it for 4 years. I had that black mold situation, toxic mold from 2016. I'm very well recovered. I still have some work to do, but my health is so much better now than what it was 4 years ago. I have strong confidence that even if I was in the presence of somebody who had this virus, I might get the sore throat, I might get, the lung situation, but I would just load up on these supplements and I would maintain my super low carbohydrate diet, be in ketosis, get those fatty acids up so those fatty acids can kill the virus. One of the best things that's antiviral is LDL. When you go into ketosis, your LDL may go up. That's a really good thing. It's carrying triglycerides around, which is energy. So you need lots of the LDL to carry around the triglycerides, reduce your fat cells down if you have too much fat that you're carrying around. But it's also super good for your immune system. So good high LDL is very important. If you're on a statin drug to lower the LDL, oh my gosh, forget it. You're causing yourself Alzheimer's, you're causing yourself, hormonal sexual dysfunction, and you're weakening your immune system. So talk to your MD about getting off the statin drugs, at least for the next month, because we can't go to work, we can't go to the movies, we can't do all these things. So to try to prevent viral infection, well, maybe you should be off your statin drug for 4 weeks so you can prevent viral infection. Now, when it comes to losing your lung capacity and lung ability to absorb oxygen and transfer the oxygen into your blood, oxygen is very important. Here's a product called biomolecular oxygen, and the company is Cellcore Biosciences, and they also carry that Vireg Chem binder and other products, which I'm not going to get into with this video. And here's a lung support product called Pneumotox. It detoxifies the lungs from this company called Physica. We also have other lung support, Pneumatro from Standard Process, Allerplex from Standard Process, Fengree from Standard Process, Our Lung from Systemic Formulas. I know I'm talking fast. There's a pause button. Hit pause, write it down. I'm very conversant with these herbs. It's been my life. I had a patient say to me, how do you know all these supplements? And my answer was, well, how do you know all those guitar chords? Because he's a musician. And his response was, touche. Here's a few herbs. We got core echinacea from Energetics. We got echinacea intrinsic from Physica. I don't typically go to these, but let's say you're trying to buy some of these earlier herbs I talked about, and they're out of stock, they're on back order. You can go to these other companies. They have sort of duplicates, whether liquid or tablet form. Just look for like echina in the name, like echina intrinsic, or here's core echinacea. These are combinations of herbs from Systemic Formulas. Vivi, I talked about this earlier in another video. It also comes in a liquid form, CX Vivi. CX means concentrated. So you can put the concentrated version like on your nose and have some sort of effect in there as far as like breathing it in, or directly into your mouth so it has an effect on your sore throat. Speaking of which, here's herbal throat spray from MediHerb. This is fantastic. I can't forget to talk about St. John's wort. So St. John's wort is fantastic for getting rid of these envelope viruses. That's been known for decades. As a matter of fact, you may think of St. John's wort as being for depression, and that came out in the 80s. But before that, it was known to kill these envelope viruses. So let's change our mindset right now on St. John's wort and think of it for this C virus. This C virus is an envelope virus. And so St. John's wort, also known as hypericum, is made for this. Mother Nature made St. John's wort to kill this C virus. Okay, I didn't do it. The supplement companies didn't do it. Mother Nature did it. Mother Nature has provided these fantastic tools to help us deal with these nasty organisms. So let's talk more about putting things on topically. This is Thieves. Okay, it's a combination of essential oils from herbs that when I open this up, and I can just like tilt it upside down like that, and now it's on my thumb or on my finger, and I go like this, and then that's it. And now I'm breathing it in. So I heard of a woman who's a teacher, and she was putting this in water in the diffuser in the classroom before school started and during recess, and she would diffuse this into the air, and next door to her was a lab for the school, and the teacher next door was complaining that he couldn't grow bacteria in a petri dish. And that's because she was using this thieves oil. This is so important. I have 2 bottles of my own That's how important it is. I've had these for years, and I was at a conference this past weekend in Denver, and this is when the whole scaremongering started to come down, and other people were using this on their own. I was walking through the room, and I could smell this in the room. Now, to end this with these supplements, I'm going to talk about probiotics. This is my favorite probiotic. It's called Prosymbiotic from Standard Process, and there's a lot of options. We only carry a few. I know there's like thousands on the market. I mean, we have stores here in Ann Arbor that they just have shelf after shelf after shelf of probiotics. This is called Flora 12 from Energetics, and this is called Flora Synergy from Energetics. So we have these to like round out your immune system health and to work on your gut. And most of the lymphatic system is in the gut, like at least 50% of it. So I just want to point out there's some probiotic options for you. So I didn't necessarily expect this video to go this long, but I've had these thoughts on my mind. I've had a lot of requests from people to talk more about this virus. And so I just like laid it all out. And like, I don't want anybody to be scared. You just have to take action. You have to do things instead of sitting in your house and ruminating and being fearful. Just be logical about this and be analytical and active. And here's how you be active. You get into ketosis, keep your blood sugar way down, and then take supplements. And what else is there? Go outside, get some fresh air. Make sure your house is clean. You know, like clean your house. That's important. Just like taking a shower and washing your hands. But there's so many options. There's so many supplements in the natural healthcare world. They're not going to talk about this on your favorite news program. I don't care what channel it is. You got to go on social media to pick up this kind of information. And so I'll put links below on how to buy from my office. We have several different ways for patients and non-patients. So follow the links below, and it'll go to our website, and you can follow how to get most of these supplements, whether you're a patient or not. Now, if you're a patient, it's really important that you contact us and get some advice because, you know, I just went over like a few dozen products. Does it matter for you? Like, what works for you? Depending on your current situation, talk to your practitioner. They know your body pretty well, and they can give you some really good advice. And if you're not a patient and you're ready to take charge of your health and not be a victim to the current media hysteria and this virus, call the office and we can do phone visits. You don't have to come to the office. We can do phone visits. So I highly suggest that you do that. We need everybody in the country to improve their health, and they need to know the information that we supply at my office. And part of my message, I said at the beginning of this video, the total incompetence of the whole medical system. I was on Twitter, and there's this naturopath named Dr. Jay Wrigley, and he posted a few days ago about taking vitamin C, and he listed out a couple other supplements, and he was attacked by some medical professional. And I defended Jay, and I said, look, Jay in one tweet has more information than all of medicine combined in one tweet, talking about vitamin C and whatever other supplements that he listed. And like, you know, wash your hands, don't touch your face. It's not enough. I mean, that's it. That's pathetic. They don't even say avoid French fries and avoid potato chips and avoid junk food and avoid pop. They can't even say that because they're constrained by the big moneyed interests. So there you go. You can use this information to benefit yourself and your family. Please give me a thumbs up on this video. It took me a long time to put it together, lots of editing, and this has been my career. A lot of knowledge I'm studying every day, nutrition and supplements and whole foods. So give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.